Whoa, let's learn stuff. Chapter 6, Understanding Consumer Behavior. Okay, so that brings me to chapter 6, the stuff I wanted to talk about that I don't have any additional video lectures or anything like that. So I wanted to add to your readings because not all of this stuff is in the textbook necessarily. So I wanted to add to that, especially since we started a marketing degree program last January. One of our courses, so there's a whole course dedicated to consumer behavior, and so we have a few students taking that class right now, and it's just a really fascinating aspect of marketing, I think, because really that's what it comes down to is we want to, as marketing professionals, we want to influence consumer behavior so that next time they need something, that people think of our products, that we're the solution to that need. And that's really tough because here are a couple things about people today, 2024. So if you look it up, it's been estimated that we make 35,000 decisions every day. Just think about all the things that you do all day. That's counted up, it's 35,000 decisions. And 5,000 of those, or around 5,000. So really, it depends on what you do or where you're at. But generally speaking, people are exposed to 5,000 ads every day. So that could be just from you scrolling through social media or watching TV, listening to the radio, driving down the street, right? Because there's billboards, and then just going to the mall or going to a store. There's just things everywhere marketing to you to try to get your attention. So it's really, that's the job of the marketing person, right? Is to just kind of cut through the clutter to get somebody's attention. So in consumer behavior, it's that's definitely something that we keep in mind. So it's pretty interesting. And I'll say one more thing about the consumer behavior class that we have going on right now this semester. Students are working in groups, so there's a group project component, and I have them working on creating a new, they're not actually working with Hershey's, but I've chosen Hershey's as the brand to work with as far as creating new products for them. So I'll just show that real quick. So the three brands from Hershey's that I chose for students to work with are Pirate's Booty, which I chose it for one thing because it sounds funny, but it's popcorn, right? And then there's Twizzlers and then Bark Thins. So I have them doing research on the brand to where eventually they're going to create a presentation to, like, they're going to pretend that they're presenting this new idea to a marketing manager that, hey, here's our new product idea. So last time this class happened, spring 2024, they were doing Reese's and what's the other one? Hershey Kisses, I think. Well, one of those. So they came up with their own ideas for like a new Reese's product. So in this case, they landed on creating some kind of energy bar kind of Reese's with, that peanut butter flavor. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So anyway, just kind of a shameless plug, if you will, of what we're doing in our marketing courses. But I thought I'd tie that into consumer behavior somehow, just to get it started with that. So yeah, one aspect of consumer behavior besides getting consumers to react to our marketing messages is to come up with the different products that we think our audience might like. So whether that's direct feedback or even from our own research to see what people might respond to. So let's see, consumer behavior, I gave it a definition, so this is straight from your textbook. It's the process individuals or groups, so it's not just the study of the individual consumer. We can think of it as a general way of describing how a group might behave towards a product, how they go through selecting, purchasing, using, and disposing of goods, services, ideas, or experiences to satisfy their needs and desires. Because really, The book put it as satisfying their needs and desires. To me, I say, it's solving a problem, right? So whenever you buy something, it's to help solve some kind of problem you have, some kind of need. Well, I guess in the end, it goes to need and desire, right? The thing to remember though is that consumers don't all respond in the same way, but ultimately, as people, we can be pretty predictable ourselves. And depending on our background, where we grew up, how we grew up, all of that, there's going to be general patterns. So we can kind of get a general idea of how a group might react based on their affiliation. So that's an important concept to remember because as you're writing assignment 5, if you recall, assignment 5, wrong class. So assignment 5, right? Besides writing your marketing objectives, there's a target market section. So if you can think of consumer behavior, pay attention to, the part that I'll be talking about tonight, then that'll really give you insight into what group that you might want to consider for the product that you're creating a marketing plan for. So assignment 5, yeah, it has a segments you should target. So these groups of people, depending on their category or whatever, they're going to have different things about them that affect how they would respond to your marketing messages. So that's stuff that has to do with their demographics, psychographics, behavioral segmentations. And so I won't get much more into that because I do talk about that in this video. Or if it's not in this video, then I know it's at least in your module 3 course materials folder. So somewhere I talk about target marketing somewhere else. So I'm not going to add to that. I'll just let you watch that. So with that said, I thought, okay, figure 6.1 from the textbook was also pretty good to kind of pay attention to. So let me go to that. Sorry, this picture kind of distracted me. Like, what's up with that Photoshop job? But one of the things I concentrated on was graphic communication. So definitely I use Photoshop quite a bit. And I've been using Photoshop for like over 20 years. So, and definitely that's one thing to master. And it's a lot easier with the new Photoshop too, with AI and all that to just get rid of the background without. Yeah, so I don't know what was up with that. Maybe they were being ironic. I don't know. Okay, so I was looking for 7 point, or see, I keep forgetting. 6.1. Here we go. 6.1. So this is the consumer decision making continuum. So it it illustrates how people make decisions in their purchases. So on the left, low level of involvement. So these are the things that we buy that we don't really need to think too much about because it's pretty regular or maybe it doesn't cost that much. And then as you go to the right, those are the ones that are going to involve a little more research because it is going to be a big investment. So, like an example would be a car. Purchasing a vehicle is a big deal, and people should research. So, it kind of talks about information search as one of them. The risk, well, if it's cheap, like cereal, there's not much risk to that. But if you buy a car, you might be stuck with a car payment for a while, right? So, you want to make sure it's the right one for you. And so those types of decisions would affect. So I'm kind of moving ahead with maybe concepts later on that would connect with assignment 6, 7, or 8. As you're thinking about other aspects of marketing strategy, depending on what product you're creating a marketing plan paper for, it'll definitely matter how you promote that. So for those low involvement, low risk types of purchases, like it says here in their marketing actions, you could provide environmental cues. So think about stuff like at the grocery store, for example, there would be magazines and chocolate bars, things like that. So you're appealing to people's impulse buying type things. And so, because they're not going to think much about spending a couple dollars on a chocolate bar, right? But since it's there and maybe they're craving chocolate or something else, or maybe they want to read that magazine, or maybe they want to drink like a soft drink. Or wait, here in the South, is it pop or is it soft drink? Or is it Coke? No matter what you call it. Okay. Well, when I say soft drink, you know what I'm talking about, right? Coca-Cola, Sprite, whatever. Um, yeah, that's why there are those point of purchase types of things. And also just continuing with the supermarket or a grocery store example, you might see just the ad on the floor, for example. I've seen those before, or just things at the end of the aisle. So just to get you to just make those impulse purchases. But then, yeah, when it comes to cars or houses, yeah, definitely people will want to be well informed before they could feel comfortable about making a decision. And so, if you think about it, that's why, like, if you go to your cars, an auto manufacturer site like Toyota or Nissan or Ford, you're going to be educated about the features of your car, right? Like the one you want to purchase is going to show everything. It's going to talk about specs and how many miles per gallon and things like that. And so, in thinking about the different marketing that would happen, you would want the whole goal would be to educate so people would feel comfortable making that decision. So that kind of goes along with helping, just push consumers towards your product. So this whole consumer behavior, it's pretty fascinating, especially, I know I said that already, but have to say it again. I mean, we're dealing with sociology here, psychology, so that really brings in the idea that marketing is both science and art. So the science part would be analyzing, using data to make decisions based on, after you do statistical analysis and so on.